dares think they can come up to Star Wars The Force Awakens and actually make money.
Why, the God of Thunder. Who else?
The God of Thunder himself, Thor, who apparently really thinks he is Thor doing this shit. I really don't understand why they would try to release this movie at this point, because it's a period piece. It's something that is also, I mean, if you look at the trailers for it, we're talking about in the heart of the sea.
Yeah, that title's not doing it anything.
Now, especially when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt just came out by the sea.
Right. Any title with sea is kind of boring.
And some people even get the two movies mixed up. Some people are saying, is that movie where that whale was hanging out with Angelina Jolie?
I think Brad Pitt is in it too.
Yeah. No matter how they try to pitch it even seems kind of dry. Like, who's this movie marketed towards? The reason why they did it is because they feel like it might actually have a chance at getting some attention for Oscar season. And with Ron Howard behind it, he carries a name.
He used to.
Well, plus the last time, him and Chris Hemsworth were together, they made Rush, which is an amazing movie.
With Rush itself right out the theaters too.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah. But with these two guys working together again, more critical praise is surely to be had. Everybody's heard about Moby Dick.
Yeah. Had to read that shit in high school.
Yeah, had to read that shit in high school. Man chasing after a whale. Y'all didn't know that was based on a true story.
Right.
Isn't everything?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they probably have taken some liberties.
Well, it was inspired by
that.
Which means they did exactly that. They took a lot of liberties.
And you're saying, well, this whale really existed? What happened? Well, this is the story of the Essex. The Essex is a ship that was carrying a whaling crew. They would meet their doom as they encountered this monstrous whale that tore apart their ship and ruined the whole expedition, leaving all these guys to fight for survival. It's man against nature, but really it's not. Like, this shit is personal. It's really it's a good thing to have this whale be the center of attention here, and it's also a bad thing. I would say that Chris Hemsworth is perfect casting right here. Now you're probably thinking he's playing the guy from Moby Dick, and he's not. In the movie, he's the first mate, and this guy, he commands the screen, man. He's finally got that perfect balance of being a pretty boy and a rugged man too.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows he's pretty though. I mean, come on, man. He's wearing that fucking shirt.
Got them all unbuttoned.
He got it all unbuttoned down,
like
Fabio and shit. Yeah, he's a fucking swashbuckler in this, man. That motherfucker's Errol Flynn for today.
Well, now it starts out where he's like, okay, on our next expedition, he's like, well, shit, I'm gonna be the captain on this. I already can figure out my plans. And they go like, yeah, well, this rich guy here, he wants his son to be the captain, so you got to be the first mate again. And he's like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, he really is.
And he's like, that guy ain't never sailed nowhere. And I've been doing this a long time. They're like, well, we own everything. So look, just go ahead and do it. Next time you come back, we make you captain.
And when that happens, he's like, you know what? Fuck that captain. He says, when I get on this ship, I'm going to make him look like the biggest bitch on here. I mean, whenever something happens to this ship, if something breaks, something needs to be untangled, he pulls a Thor and just goes flying to that spot. And the guys eat that shit up, man. They love it. They love it. Like, every dude on this ship has a man crush for him.
Yeah.
like he ain't just pulling the rope. He puts his feet on and swings upside down and grabs it and does a pirate swing across and lands on one foot.
Oh, yeah. The dude is like, he's doing ballet on this thing. And meanwhile, while he's doing this, ain't nobody even looking at the captain.
He's making that shit look easy.
And that captain's looking like, these motherfuckers, hey, I'm the captain. They're like, man, shut up.
Look at the hat.
Yeah. He look like Captain Crunch and shit right there. Of course, that leads to some really, that leads to egos, man. Some petty shit that goes on between the two of them. And even though he's showing off, the captain, he really didn't have to go as low as he did, because he says, you know what? I can't go in and try to fight this motherfucker. He'll beat the shit out of me. But I can fuck with his mind.
Told your father grew corn on Cape Cod.
That's right, he did. As you can imagine, I suddenly grew tired of eating it every day.
Corn, okra, beans, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Before he went to jail.
Why you gotta bring
Are you familiar with the story, Mr. Joy?
He really was like, God damn, man.
I thought we were having a conversation here.
He's like, we just eating, dude. Man, you bring my daddy up in this shit. You don't even know him. the whole thing turns into just one big dick measuring contest between these guys. I mean, even though, we want to root for the poor guy, the farmer's son, going up against the entitled rich boy who inherited his position and didn't work for it. Both of them, man, still kind of bitchy, man. It really is like two chicks on this boat fighting each other. You really can't root for either one of them because they both have their moments.
They both have a moment where they make a decision that fucks things up.
Yeah.
They both want to look at each other like, see what you did.
Yeah.
We'll see what you just did.
It's only a matter of time before trying to outmatch each other, before one of them fucks up real bad. And at that point, it don't matter whose fault it was.
Right.
You about to get everybody killed.
If we don't shorten sail and pair off, it'll catch us on the beam.
Mr. Chase, we will stand on. Mr. Lawrence, hold our course.
Put in course, sir.
We'll lose half a day running like that.
Notice I don't even respect that captain.
Owen, what do you think we should do?
Yeah. Like they're holding course, sir. If Owen has said that shit, they've been like, yes, sir, holding course.
Right away.
It's got the edge of it. If the men can't handle a gust like this, then God help us all.
And God said, oh, yeah.
How is it to be on a ship when you know the captain's fucking up and driving you to your death and you still got to follow order? Because everybody's doing what they told me. They're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, man. If ever there was a time for a mutiny, I don't think that would be it.
That's like a backseat driver telling you, hey, drive off that cliff right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Aye, Captain. It's a fucked up time, man. They have to put all this petty squabbling aside, man, because the storm almost got them, and they're just like, okay, I'm sorry, man. We cool? Yeah, man, you cool? Because we really able to fuck up that, weren't we? Yeah. Meanwhile, the whole crew's looking at them like, yeah, you bitches get y'all shit together. But they, yeah, y'all better kiss and make up. Fucking this boat up right now over some stupid shit. We just want to go home. But they meet the whale right here. And something that this whole time, this is what I mean by the whale is kind of the best part of the movie and kind of hurts the movie too, because when the whale comes in, man, you really do realize I don't give a shit about these guys, because you get the reason why, because you see these guys doing some. I mean, I know it's their culture and they're doing what they have to do, and I don't want to judge too hard, but the way they killed you see their first whale kill,
Yeah.
and it's kind of brutal, man. Like the whole thing about hunting whales and killing them is so big, you got to keep stabbing at them, and it just seems like it's torture almost.
Yeah.
So when that fucking whale comes in, you thinking like, yeah, you know what? I'm on your side, man. Fuck these dudes. You hear him laughing, ha 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 ha. Ha. He's like, really? You gonna throw a needle at my ass? Ha, ha, ha. Boy, that motherfucker moved quick.
Isn't that Spider-Man?
Shit! That's the quickest that bitch move on that ship the whole time. Most of the time, he spend his time sleeping, eating. That motherfucker got lively then. Oh, shit! They were told not to fuck with this whale. And it's also them getting desperate. It's interesting to see how these whaling expeditions work, because they have to bring home a certain amount of oil.
Like 200 barrels.
It was 2,000 barrels.
Was it 2,000?
It was 2,000 barrels, and they're gone for about a year. Yeah. So they have to bring home this quota of oil, and they're looking hard for these whales. And ain't no whales to be found. Like the one whale they killed, his friend got away. Like, y'all better get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
These whalers out here, and so they get desperate, and they stop by one island after they've been out there for 2 years. And one guy tells him, he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of whales way out near the edge of the ocean, but I don't even know what the fuck I'm telling you this, because there's a big ass fucking whale out there, killed my man, and you know what? He's gonna fuck y'all up too.
As a matter of fact, before I went out there, I used to have 2 arms.
Yeah, he said, hey, he still got my arm.
and all they hear is like, oh, so there's whales out there? You're like, Yeah, man. Sure.
But they even get cocky about it. They're like, man, that's what we fucking do. We kill whales. They even go off talking. Just, shit, wish that motherfucker would say something to me. Let's go get this goddamn. When the guy's like, nice knowing you, man. Same fucking thing every time. I try to tell them, they don't listen.
They want to go after them.
And they went out there and fuck with that whale, and that whale said, you in my hood now.
Yeah. My domain.
Yeah, you want to come to my town and do this shit. All right, cool, let's do it. On the poster, if you look, the whale's eye is a bigger star of this movie than he is.
Oh,
and that's supposed to be Chris Hemsworth. He's this small, man.
Yeah.
For anybody who's going to go see this movie, they want to see it for the whale.
Right.
The whale is a star of the motion picture. And this is and the whale parts are great, man. And like I said, the whole time I'm rooting for the whale. I'm like, you know what? Y'all went out, y'all killed the whale. You went out and fucked with the wrong whale.
Yeah, dude warned you.
And guess what? He won.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way it works.
Right.
And just when you go like, well, okay, they came across the whale and they lost, and that was all she wrote. And it's like, no, that's not the worst of what's going to happen.
No.
The worst is coming.
It's about them suffering, man.
Being
Really?
stranded.
Yeah, they're stranded out in
Nowhere.
and they tell you stranded out in the ocean. They say they don't even know what's worse, being stranded in the ocean or the desert. There's really no difference. You got to have sympathy against some people that just suffering for a long time because they out in that sun. They get that chapped skin.
Yeah.
You know, homeless man get those ashy lips.
Yeah, they got that castaway shit.
Yeah.
Sunken in cheeks and hollow eyes.
Yeah, I saw Chris Hemsworth lost some weight for this shit.
He lost 100. He was 215. He dropped down to 175.
Jesus.
He must be a hungry motherfucker because he said that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm like, man, if that's the hardest thing you've ever done.
This is the dude who dreams of getting fat one day.
Yeah, it is. He did say, I don't get. He said, man, I'm through with this store shit thing. I'm gonna be the blob.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah, I don't care no more.
Put Val Kilmer to shame.
Yeah, like if you combine Russell Crowe and Val Kilmer, that's what he's gonna be. You can't help but feel for somebody if you are a human being when you see that. Of course, you're gonna have some sympathy, and a lot of these guys are desperate and they're out there just trying to work, and so circumstances being what they are, you really do feel for them. But it's just because of the situation. It's not because of the guys themselves. Yeah. You don't, like I said, they're still not characters. There's so many people in there. You wonder, like, okay, who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest problems I had with the movie was that nobody really had much character. I mean, yeah, you knew who the captain was. You certainly knew Owen because he's the star. You're with him. And then the little kid because he's ultimately the narrator.
Yeah.
Everybody else, like especially once they get dirty and cracked out, they really just start to blend together. You like, you see a guy die. You're like, wait, which one was he? Oh, he wasn't one of the main three guys. All right, well, sorry. Dude.
Yeah, once they get all hairy, they all look the same.
Oh,
they look like animals. You're the only two people you can really three. There's three people you can tell apart. Chris Hemsworth, of course. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it's four. There's a little boy on there. All right, he's shorter than everybody else. He ain't growing a beard.
Right.
And then there's two black dudes. It's like, okay, it's because they stand out.
Yeah.
They're black. This is edited and filmed in a way where they want to make this a very safe PG-13. I'm not even talking about like a hard PG-13. Yeah. And they start talking about, oh, we had to commit atrocities that you would never, you should never see. And it's like,
yeah, and we make sure you don't see them.
Yeah, you don't see them. And it's just kind of like the atrocities that you did do. Is like, so you ate a dude. Dude was already dead. You were hungry. I do the same thing.
Right.
Shit, don't ever get caught in the stranded somewhere with me. I eat both y'all without hesitation.
It is like, yeah, we seen this.
Yeah, shit, I'll make Tommy Tartar in a fucking minute, man. I don't care. So these atrocities they're talking about is like, man, that shit ain't that bad. Hell, you ate a dude, so the fuck what?
Yeah, get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the old days. Dry him out, pretend he was jerky.
Yeah.
And he's saying, no, I had this with me the whole time.
You were hungry. Shit, y'all looking like burgers right now to me. Shit. I think myself that this would have worked better had they not tried to cram in the whole Herman Melville's Moby Dick thing. I think it would have been kind of cool to just see this play out. Brendan Gleeson, he plays a guy that passes on the tail that inspires the novel eventually, Moby Dick, and that is told throughout the movie. And it seems like it kind of breaks the movie up a little bit, breaks the flow of the film.
Okay, here's the thing for me with this movie. So Herman Melville's talking to Brendan Gleeson, and he finally sits down and tells him, like, I'm going to tell you the story, but it's probably going to be kind of disappointing to you. And after that big setup, I was like, yeah, compared to the actual novel Moby Dick, this is kind of a tame story. I mean, yeah, it sucks for you guys, don't get me wrong, but as, a third party just hearing it, I'm like, well, okay. I'm sure that happened a lot with whaling because, hey, it's a bunch of you guys on a ship going after trying to kill slave creatures that are so big, you could get inside one and play a game of football.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually get one on the boat, cut a hole in it, and make people go down inside of it and root around. It's like a tunnel. It's like, so every time they come across one, when the tail is bigger than your whole crew, just the tail.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? You're like, hey man, you guys are brave. I get that. But don't be shocked when you die.
Yeah, it's something like, yeah, and don't be shocked when you piss off the biggest fucking whale out there. Yeah.
When you saw the biggest creature on earth.
When you saw a fucking volcano come out the fucking ground, that's when you should have turned that shit around and go home.
Guess what? The Kraken is real.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't hate the guys for hunting whales because hey, it was the times, right. It was what they did. But when they got bumped off when tragedy happened, it just felt like, well, yeah, man, it was Tuesday, and you were out there on the water.
Even I mean, what the fuck did you expect? Even Chris Hemsworth's wife is telling him, "I don't want you to go. This shit is dangerous." You're like, well, I got to.
This is what I do.
This is what I do. All right, what you do? Yeah, yeah. He's like, well, I am going to be the one to live through this movie. So, but when it all comes down to it, it's a good looking film, and even the whaling culture that they have there, or the sailing culture, that's kind of fascinating to watch too. It's a movie that works well on a visual level. I mean, the whale attacks themselves are great, but be warned that there's not that many of them in there. There's only a few. Like I said, by the time you get just a little bit past halfway the movie, the whale attacks start to die off, and it's just a struggle for survival, which we've seen several times in other movies, and I have to say done more effectively. Even the Angelina Jolie movie where the Unbroken, yeah, even that was a little harsher than what we see here.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. The whole time watching, I was just like, yeah, it keeps telling me how harsh it was, but it's not showing me that. I'm not feeling that from it.
Yeah,
and you know what? Like looking at this, I think about Jaws, which I saw not rewatched not that long ago, and it's one of those things with Jaws where they give you so much time to get invested in those characters that the shark is just one thing that your characters you like are dealing with.
Yeah.
And here, I don't really know these guys that well, so I wasn't emotionally invested.
That's what I was saying. As Martin said, look, Moby Dick exists. Yeah. We don't really need this shit right here. And they do one of those things at the end of the movie, like they tell you, I can't believe they tell you something so obvious. I almost took a point off because they said this shit. Yeah. And Herman Melville has been like, it opened with him talking to the guy that's giving him the story, and at the end of it says, and he went off to write Moby Dick. I'm like, I just saw that. I didn't need
Is that what this shit is about?
The funny thing what surprised me was that they didn't also include that at the time he wrote it, it didn't sell and he died broke.
Yeah, they didn't say that part.
Yeah.
They made it sound, they left it off like making it sound like he wrote Moby Dick and went off and got money and bitches.
Yeah. It's like that book didn't become popular until he was long dead.
Yeah, people, it's like I said, visually, even as a period piece, as an action film, there's a lot of stuff to be impressed there. But I was intrigued by the suffering of the guys. Even when you consider that there were moments where guys had to actually draw straws to figure out who was going to die to feed the rest of the crew. It's
a little brutal.
Yeah, it was really brutal, but it doesn't play out that way.
Ain't that some shit? Like,
but
that's good material.
It's good material and it's fascinating, but it's not very deep.
Yeah.
For that, I think it's an enjoyable film. Again, there's nothing that you're going to really get invested in. I give it a matinee. So
I give it a low matinee. If you're going to see it, it should be in the theater so you can have the full spectacle. But other than that, I don't know. It started out in a way where I thought this shit is going to be good.
Yeah.
But just over time, I was like, nah, it's just, it's all right.
But God damn, he's cracked the fuck out, man.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they put him. He looks like Tom Hanks, man.
He looks exactly
like they put this motherfucker on an island and left him there.
Yeah, no volleyball.
No volleyball. No, yeah. It's like they dropped that motherfucker off and hey man, we going to this great party on this island. He dropped his ass.
Was this movie even worth him doing that for?
No. That's why he's mad.
He pulled a 50 Cent.
Yeah, he said, how many fucking 50 Cent? Yeah. In fact,
all that work for nothing.
Yeah. In fact, that whale movie's gonna be on BET next week. He's like, how many fucking steak dinners I missed?
Oh man.
To do this shit.